Okay, here we come. Yeah. Yeah, David, we got SkyMap 7 up right now. As we continue on Melrose, coming up on El Centro. Now we're northbound on El Centro from Melrose. Very high speed. This started with LAPD Metropolitan Division, and Rampart units took it over as we're starting to go northbound on El Centro, coming into the Hollywood area. Suspect driving through stop signs, as you see that. Red lights, driving erratically. Right now, the speeds aren't too bad, but speeds have been very high at times, David. And he's been circling up in blocks as he makes that westbound turn on Gregory. We're going to go ahead and put SkyMap 7 up on the out on the speed for you can see exactly where he is, the speeds he's going, and exactly where he is. Technology exclusive to ABC7 and Air 7 HD. As you see the speeds here, not very high right now as he's on Vine, northbound on Vine Street right now coming into the Hollywood area.
All right, JT, I'm not sure. Does that look like he's in a Honda of some sort? I can't make out the model of the car. We did see a shot where he was on the wrong side of the street, so there is some erratic driving with this driver.
Yeah, we believe it's a four-door sedan of some type. We're trying to get confirmation on that. Maybe a Hyundai, but you can see it is definitely a four-door sedan. Speeds is going through the center divider. There he's on the wrong side of the road, but slowing down quite a bit right now as he's coming up on Santa Monica and Vine. As he crosses Santa Monica, you can see holding at Santa Monica right through the red light, traffic going. LAPD is overhead. Now, they were in pursuit. They may be going into tracking mode here. We're uncertain. We're trying to get that confirmed if they're actually in pursuit right now. But the supervisor on scene, he's the one managing this pursuit. He may have made that call to back off a little bit, maybe go into tracking mode using LAPD Air Support Division. We'll see if there's any black and whites behind him right now. On Vine, pulling south corner here.
All right, sorry, we have a little bit of a signal breakup going on right now, JT, but we do see the picture still going through that.
Wow.
That's a little bit tricky right there. JT, I think we have you back. There is a little bit of a signal breakup. We lost you for a second. Nope, you're still breaking up just a little bit. So I'll carry it for a little while we can make something out. But as they continue to wind their way through Hollywood, this driver sometimes slowing down, but sometimes doing things like that, going on the wrong side of the street. And Ellen, this being a Friday night in Hollywood, pedestrians, the potential for somebody getting hurt out on the street is pretty high.
Especially because you have all those theaters around there, including the Pantages where Hamilton's playing, and he's right there on Vineland and Santa Monica Boulevard at one time. And it looks like he's entering some sort of more of a residential or smaller street, at least. It's not
Yeah, that's going to be northbound on Cole Place, and he's coming up on Sunset, which is the major here. We'll see what he does on Sunset. Looks like he's back westbound on Sunset here. He's making a lot of turns, so we're turning very quickly, making that northbound turn on Wilcox. Going to go right by LAPD Hollywood Division, which is going to be up here on the right side, going down an alley here. Looks like he looked down that alley, saw it was a dead end, decided against it. But he's right near the police station right now as he comes up Wilcox and approaching we believe Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, and going the wrong way again. Did he go in?
Look, clearly some people know what's going on. There's a woman on that rooftop trying to watch watching this pursuit. So some folks are watching this already on their cell phones, knowing that we're on a pursuit.
And you can see that the way he's been hesitating and not kind of figuring out where to go. We apologize for this.
Yeah, bear with us. We're going to lose the signal every now and then, being in Hollywood with a lot of cross signals and buildings, etc. So there it is again. We're trying to stay with this, but this going on in Hollywood. What we're seeing is this dark-colored sedan. It has been basically winding its way all through Hollywood. There it is again. And JT Alpa is in Air 7 HD trying to keep up with us. And JT, I think we have your signal back.
Yeah, well, sorry about that, guys. We're working on that. But now we're westbound Hollywood Boulevard, right in the heart of Hollywood, coming up on Las Palmas, making a right-hand turn on North Palmas, going northbound. Speed's a little slower. LAPD is in tracking mode. Now, we have got confirmation the suspect it's a stolen vehicle, so it's GTA, wanted for GTA here, getting into some traffic. But there are no black and whites directly behind him as he's coming up on the Franklin area. Well, now they actually are. They're pretty close there. Rampart unit still in pursuit in Hollywood Division as he picks up the speed north on Las Palmas, coming up on Franklin here. Wanted for stolen and his 2 people on board, and we're getting some information, again unconfirmed, that possibly a gun was thrown from the vehicle and was recovered by LAPD as he makes that westbound turn on Franklin coming up on Highland.
Yeah, approaching probably the most busy section of Hollywood shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see the traffic right there, and then some pedestrians will be out on the street. And as you said, Ellen, look at the side of the road there. There's a ton of pedestrians. There's some traffic cones set up. He's going on the wrong side of the cones right there. JT, again, what street are we on?
Well, this is Highland, David, as we're coming up on that stretch that comes up on the Hollywood Bowl. And it looks like the Hollywood Bowl is actually going right now. A lot of traffic in this area, both northbound and southbound. Now he's going to make that turn onto Camrose. That gets up into those hills and gets really tight up in that area. As you see, he started to make those curves as he's going to Camrose. A lot of dead ends up here, a lot of narrow streets, so they're really going to depend on LAPD air support to guide them through there. But there are at least two Rampart units in close proximity to the pursuit. It's uncertain if they're still in tracking or if they actually re-engage the pursuit. It looks like they have re-engaged that pursuit as they're on Camrose going westbound away from Highland. Very steep terrain in here, very narrow, windy streets as we start to go up into the Hollywood Hills near the Hollywood Bowl.
And also we've seen quite a few pedestrians in that particular area as well, so it's a pretty dangerous situation. There's also these roads are so narrow.
I lived up the hills for a little while. It's tough go on a normal day, much less with a pursuit going through. You see that? That's what I'm talking about there. It is very difficult. You have to have a lot of cooperation to be able to work your way through the hills. You have to understand that there are cars coming from both directions. They have to squeeze through one lane, and it can get really tricky up there, JT.
Yep, this is La Presa Drive here as it gets even more narrow and coming up into the hills. La Presa Drive coming up on Broadview Terrace. SkyMap 7 giving you that and seeing the speeds on this, about 15 to 30 miles an hour. He slows down on those curves, but very dangerous. Black and whites have backed off just a little bit. Let LAPD air support do what they do. Get behind behind the car. Let them call the pursuit from the air. Get them close. But 2 occupants in this vehicle. We know at least one of them was armed earlier. It's a possibility that there may still be weapons in the car, so they're using a lot of caution on this one, guys.
Yeah, and this could be one of those situations, we've seen it before, JT, when they get basically stuck or trapped up there, because eventually they'll either have to come down or they'll run into a dead end. And we have often seen when they get into the hills, they'll bail and try to hide under some bushes and stuff like that. And look, there's some pedestrians right out there.
Yeah, this is an area that has a lot of dead ends, and we're not really sure where this comes out. I'm looking out the window right now. It looks like it may come back out to Franklin if he continues this way, but he's still on La Presa Drive, coming up on Cantada Drive here in the Hollywood Hills, right near the Hollywood Bowl. Speeds have significantly slowed down. Well, that's good news. Well, look at that. Almost head-on with that car, that little convertible coming through the Hollywood Hills. But wanted suspects trying to get away here. We'll see if they run. If they do, we'll know exactly where they are. This is going to be Outpost Drive. A lot of people familiar with this area up on the Hollywood Hills. It's one of the majors that kind of cross through the Hollywood Hills as he's making his way back north and westbound on Outpost.
Right now, it looks like he's running into more traffic, and as he heads downhill, he's really picking up the speeds there and just barely missing that car.
Yeah, he's weaving. Yeah. We'll find him weaving into the oncoming traffic, and there's a lot of blind spots. Luckily, I guess this drive is a little bit wider than normal, so there's probably a little bit more visibility, but there's also more speed. Some of the people coming his way are moving a little bit faster.
Yeah, it looks like we're coming our way back eastbound here, David, back towards Highland and the Hollywood Bowl. We'll see if it dumps out here. We're shooting this a little bit steeper than normal just because of all the trees and the terrain, so we're looking a little bit straight down more than we normally would. We've got a camera system that's able to handle that, which is good news as he winds his way through these very narrow streets, so it's very difficult to see sometimes. So we're doing our best job here as he's continuing on Outpost Drive at Castilian. He may try to find a place to bail here, so if he does, we're going to make sure that we have him here. You can see LAPD air support just went through the frame. So important on pursuits like this as he turns off of Outpost Drive onto Castilian Drive, still winding his way through the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, and if he ends up back by the Hollywood Bowl, I mean, I'm telling you, when you drive through that area, it is a nightmare to get through there because there's so much traffic, and then a lot of the lanes are blocked. And in fact, we saw that. They'll often block several lanes to get more, to help the flow of traffic into the bowl, and that could create some real problems. And there's also a lot of pedestrians walking around in that area, so that's dangerous if he ends up popping out of the Hollywood Bowl again, JT.
Yeah, it really could be. Again, people are still just coming into the bowl right now. We think the performance may be starting shortly, but we did see a lot of traffic on Highland, and we think that's one of the reasons he made that left turn westbound off of Highland and came up into the mountains to try to get away from that. But this is an area that he's getting really deep into and even higher into the hills. We're showing you on SkyMap 7, you'll see that green icon in the middle. That not only shows the speed, it also shows the direction of which way he's going. You can see sometimes it gets very disorientating up here on which way they're going, but that's where we can use this to show you the direction that he's actually driving. So you'll see southeast, east, that's the direction he's going as he continues on Castilian Drive here in the Hollywood Hills. Speeds about 20 miles an hour, just winding up in the hills.
Yeah, Mitch, go ahead, David.
JT, he's still going up the hill, is that correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get my eyes on him right now because he's on the other side of the aircraft, but we're depending on SkyMap 7, but we do believe he is going up Los Tilos Road right now, heading in an northeasterly position, and you know the hills here. If you're going north on the south side of the hills, you're moving up into the hills towards the top of the crest line there.
And JT, do we know if there are two people in the car?
Yeah, original reports, what we're hearing is there's definitely a driver, obviously, and we believe there is a passenger in the vehicle. We see at least two occupants, and what's really concerning is LAPD did observe him throw a weapon from the vehicle. That weapon was luckily recovered, but, there's one weapon in that vehicle. It's very possible there's two, so they're continuing up. They're using a lot of caution, giving him a lot of room. Looking at that vehicle, what do we got here? Okay, maybe coming to a deadline. He's giving it up. We're on Los Tijos Drive here. Right at Castilian, giving it up right now. LAPD Rampart Division doing a high-risk felony stop. Hands are out of the vehicle. They've known that this is over, so right now they're going to prone him out. They're giving him directions. Put your hands out the door, turn off the car, open the door from the outside. He's going to come out. They'll call out the driver now first, and then they'll possibly call out the passenger next. But have at least 2 units here, at least 4 or 5 officers already here. Looking out the window right now, and I see several units, and it is a dead end. It is a dead end literally just about 100 feet away from the Hollywood Bowl. In fact, when he gets in custody, we'll show you how close it is, and it does not look like the performance has started yet, but there are a lot of helicopters overhead, unfortunately, making a lot of noise, including LAPD right now, and hopefully it's not a classical performance because we're making a lot of noise here.
Actually, it is. It's Danny Romero told me it's the LA Philharmonic is starting at 8 o'clock, so that's really going to interrupt some of the...
8 o'clock, though,
well,
it's
we got
7:25. They'll have this cleared pretty quickly, right, JT?
Yeah, this guy, the driver's out. He's complying. They're going to walk him away, put him down to his knees, put him down to his belly. They're going to prone him out. They'll call out the passenger. If there is a passenger in there, we believe there is. They'll hook them up, take them into custody, and it should be over. They'll clear this very quickly, hopefully, if all goes smoothly, which we're seeing that now.
Yeah, well, thankfully he surrendered peacefully, and you're right. Look at the dead end is right there.
Yeah,
you
he
just
had
saw
nowhere to
that.
go. That's probably
exactly
what really motivated them to do that. But
yeah, real quick, David, we're going to go wide just to give you an idea how close we are to the Hollywood Bowl. Look at that, a full Hollywood Bowl loading up very, very quickly here, just north of the pursuit termination. But luckily, it doesn't start for another half an hour, and we'll be out of there by then.
Yeah, that's fortunate.
That's an incredible shot, though, folks lining up in there. But we're going to put some tweets out there to let folks know that there was a pursuit right near the Hollywood Bowl, that it is over. Hopefully they'll clear it out. And if folks at the Bowl are watching, more than likely, thankfully this is over. The investigation will probably wrap up pretty quickly, and we'll get the helicopters out of there. And
JT, I guess there was no second person in the car. They still are going to find out soon, I guess.
Well, yeah, there were reports that there were, but it looks like they are sending a search team up to the car to clear the car to make sure there isn't. They called out. We got a little bit of exhaust. We're going to turn the tail here, but look at the driver view while they're clearing that car. Look at the sweat. He is just using extreme vision to get in real tight. And you can see he is just drenched with sweat right now. Obviously, very nervous during that pursuit and that driving, but no one in the car. They put the code 4 up. That means that it's clear. No further assistance needed on the car. They'll send in the arrest team right now to get a cover officer, a contact officer, hook him up, handcuff him, and this is all over.
All right.
Well, thank goodness. I'm sure the people at the Hollywood Bowl are appreciative that this noise is going to stop.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, JT. Good work on that one. And this Friday night, at least it comes to a safe ending when it comes to this pursuit. And we'll be right back.